Welcome back. I have an update about Princess. She had yet another vet visit this week. All is well. We're continuing everything as we have been, so I say there's an update. Not really much of an update, but she did have another appointment. She's not worse or anything.
My sister scolded me because apparently I did not give our family enough credit
Ooh.
in regards to our watermelon activities. According to my sister, we did spit watermelons and they did grow after that. And supposedly, we even ate some watermelon from those watermelon plants.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
I do not have any way to verify this is true. I suppose I could have asked mom, but I didn't think about it. But supposedly that happened, and we were much better gardeners than I gave my family credit for. So apologies to the entire Dean family.
My photo of the pink ball in the water won second place in this month's competition. Woohoo. I'm very excited and very proud. I'm happy that my photo was well received. And I've gotten some comments on it outside of the photography group. You know, I posted pictures of it on Facebook, and I've had people tell me like, oh, that was such a cool photo and things like that. And I don't know. It's nice to have done something well.
Definitely.
There is a link to the blog post of my photos in the show notes, which you can find in your podcast player or at heydeans.com/highlights.
Just to set the stage for the next month, July's challenge is silhouettes. So that will be our focus for the next few weeks.
I'm kind of excited about that one. That's generally a type of photography that I like. Although I'm concerned that I won't have many opportunities to take a photo that I would actually like to submit. So I wouldn't be surprised if I don't end up submitting anything, but I like it.
I think you should commit to just submitting something every month.
But I don't like to submit bad things.
Well, then take good pictures.
Nate, how's your camera?
My lens is back from Camera Hospital.
Yay!
As far as I can tell, it is good as new. I haven't actually taken any photos with it yet, but I can tell from the outside that it's all put back together. I actually have some suspicion that they may have changed some of the parts when they put it back on in how they were designed or the materials they used. Like my buddy Richie broke a part on his Harley Davidson, and the shop where he took it kind of gave him some gruff about, I don't know, they kind of insinuated that they thought that he didn't take very good care of it. And they were saying that whatever part they ordered was the exact same part as what he had broken. But whenever he got it back, he could compare it and see that Harley Davidson had actually changed the design of the part. So clearly he wasn't the only one to have broken it, because they updated their design, presumably to kind of stop it from breaking in the future. I didn't take a photo of the actual mount before I sent it off. In hindsight, I would have done that. I'm not accusing Tamron of any funny business. I'm just curious if they have changed the design to make it less likely to happen in the future. I don't remember very clearly what it looked like on the back. To me, it seems like it looks different, but I don't know. I'd have to do some research or something to find out if that's the case.
Well, I'm excited for you that you got it back.
Yes. Unfortunately, I got it back literally about 12 hours too late. On Monday of this week, they sent the tracking information, and they weren't expecting it to arrive until Friday. Now, this is a big bummer for me because I was kind of looking forward to taking some fireworks photos. So I was trying to figure out what to do. I knew there wasn't really a way to make it get here faster. I mean, it had already been shipped, and so that was that. So I was thinking, okay, well, should I buy another lens, like find like a cheap lens that I could just kind of use on the side as a backup, or should I borrow maybe a camera from work or something? But I don't like that camera as much as I like my camera. I finally decided that my coworker Richie, the same guy, is also into photography, and he has an old Canon camera that he doesn't use very much. So I ordered a Canon adapter for my Sony camera and asked him if I could just borrow one of his lenses. The specific adapter that I ordered doesn't have any electronics in it, so it was only like 20 bucks. Some of them are like fancy and you can autofocus and things like that. This one doesn't do anything, so the camera goes basically into full manual mode. But that was fine because usually when you're shooting fireworks, you are in manual mode anyways because you're shooting in a really dark sky with bright flashes. All of that would kind of mess up the camera's regular sensors because it's not a very common situation. So I went ahead and ordered that adapter, and instead of just lending me one lens, he actually just gave me his whole camera kit. So I had his three lenses, as well as my camera with the adapter, as well as his old camera too. I spent probably an hour or two over Tuesday night and Wednesday night trying to find the perfect spot to take photos. The fireworks show is hosted at one of our parks downtown, and there isn't really a lot that's very scenic around there. Downtown itself is scenic, but there's lots of buildings that block the views, and then everything directly to the south of downtown is all very industrial. Too many power lines, too many ugly buildings, too many trees. It's just not a good spot to be.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not industrial in a cool way either.
It's ugly industrial.
Yeah.
Ideally, I would have like a drone or something. I mean, that would be best case scenario, but maybe I should have just taken that $20 and spent it on a drone.
A $20 drone.
Yeah. Finally, I decided to go to a big parking garage on the SFA campus. They have a 5-story parking garage. It didn't have the best view because it's kind of far away from the fireworks. I haven't looked at like Google Maps, but it's probably 2 or 3 miles. And I looked around on the internet and I could not find anywhere like how far you can clearly see fireworks.
Well, and I'm sure that a lot of it would scale for like kind of the size of the city you're in. Obviously, the bigger city, the bigger fireworks show.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's certainly different kinds of fireworks. Like, if someone's shooting fireworks off in their backyard, I'm sure those don't go as high and don't make as big of a show as whatever the commercial fireworks the city is using. But I couldn't even get an estimate. So this spot was nice and high. Like I said, it's 5 stories. So that was a big advantage. But there was kind of a building with lights on in the foreground, which wasn't ideal, but I kind of just decided to include it in my photos. I wasn't really sure how big the lights would be that far away. It turned out it was okay. The building was kind of big in proportion to the fireworks. I wanted to zoom in more, and I could have zoomed in more to get the fireworks to be a bigger part of the image. But then all I ended up with was just the very top of the building, and that would have looked kind of weird.
Yeah, that's worse.
Most of the tips and tricks guides that I looked up recommended that you basically frame a nice photograph and then add fireworks to it. Because if you just take pictures of fireworks, it's just a black sky with lights in it. I mean, it's kind of cool, but it's pretty limited in the interest that it offers.
Yeah, well, it's not any different than anything else that everyone in Nacogdoches and every other city is posting on Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat.
Right. Yeah, the people that are only half a mile away with cell phones would probably get a better photo of that than I would where I was.
Yeah.
My whole family was spread throughout the city. Shelby was at home. My mom and the kids were at the festival. My dad was at his house. I don't even know where Jordan was. So we weren't having any kind of big family festivities. So I was just there by myself. There were plenty of other families there with me. It wasn't crowded by any means, but there were plenty of other people at the top with me.
That's interesting. I was curious to know if there were other people up there or not.
Yeah, I would say there were probably maybe 10 or 15 other families
Oh,
up there. So probably, I mean, 50 or 60 people.
huh.
It wasn't like we were all elbow to elbow. There was plenty of space.
I kind of thought you might be the only one up there.
No, I should have gotten there earlier. I was kind of running late, so I didn't get the best spot, but I just kind of picked up my tripod and just kind of moseyed into someone else's space. Not too close to them. Not too close to them, but
Were you blocking their view?
no,
Okay.
not at all. And I made sure to park the truck in some place where it wouldn't block anyone's view.
Okay.
There was plenty of space between the cars. There wasn't space for my truck, but there was plenty of space for me and a tripod.
Yeah.
Interestingly, it was incredible how quiet the fireworks were.
Huh.
I mean, it sounded like a car door slamming. They were extremely quiet. If you have kids or dogs that are scared of fireworks, that is the perfect space to go.
Well, if you have dogs that are scared of fireworks, they need to stay inside. But
These didn't sound like fireworks. It wasn't even like it sounded like a firework that was soft. It just didn't even sound like anything hardly at all.
the fireworks in my neighborhood were crazy and they went on all night long. There were fireworks at least until midnight, if not after that. And they were loud. Luckily, I didn't have any dogs that were afraid of fireworks, but it would have been a nightmare if I did.
Yeah. I was kind of bummed because our city fireworks show is honestly kind of crappy. I mean, we're a small city, so I don't expect them to spend like big bucks on a fireworks show. But basically, all the fireworks went straight up and then exploded. Most of them were fairly small, so at the distance that I was, they barely even got over the treetops. There were a few big ones, which was nice, but just not very many. And for me, I was hoping to be able to get a few photos that were framed the exact same way and kind of combine them in Photoshop. But because all of the fireworks went straight up and stopped, and none went to the left or to the right or higher than the other ones,
Oh.
it would have just been like a big mess of fireworks in one spot of the photo. So there wasn't a way to
Yeah.
easily distribute them throughout the photo.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, I mean, I could have like cut them out and like pasted the fireworks somewhere else, but I'm not going to do
Jeez.
that.
No.
I'm a kind of a spray and pray photographer, not a Photoshop wizard. So I was happy overall with how the photos turned out. I had a kind of a weird setup when I was there. So I had my camera that was on a tripod, and I had the adapter, and I had like a really long lens on that. And I was going to set up my old tripod with the borrowed camera, just to have two there basically. But like I said, I was kind of running late, so I didn't really have time to get the second tripod set up and get it all ready to go. So I set up mine because I knew that was the priority. And I just had his camera with me. But it actually turned out that the railing I was on was like at the exact right angle to just set the camera like on the concrete railing and have it point like right towards the fireworks and kind of take photos that way.
And you did this with someone else's camera?
For one thing, the railing wasn't concrete, so I wasn't scratching his camera. It was kind of like almost like a plastic covering on top. Also, this was 2 or 3 feet wide. So the camera was like 2 or 3 feet back from the edge of the building. So I wasn't at all worried about it falling off.
Okay.
So I had a little remote like on a wire that was connected to the camera on the tripod. And so I was just kind of hitting that basically the whole time. And then with the other hand, I was pressing the shutter button on his camera that was just laying down on that railing. I say railing, I mean, it's like a big flat. So it's just like a big flat surface.
Yeah.
So I was basically towards the end just constantly taking photos with those two, which actually worked pretty good. And both cameras got some good shots. The best shot of the night actually came from the borrowed camera that he gave me.
Huh.
I wanted to get all the photos edited on Thursday night, but that really wasn't practical because there were just too many. So I just kind of gave up on that, and I skimmed through, picked my favorite. I went ahead and edited that one and spent some extra time on it and posted it. So I got it on Instagram and on Facebook and on a couple different subreddits. Reddit is divided into various different groups. So I posted it on the Nacogdoches page, on the Texas page, and then on the United States of America page.
Oh, did you? I didn't see that one.
The photo did fine on the Nacogdoches and United States page. The US page actually isn't that active.
I didn't know that that was a sub, so...
Yeah.
I mean, I should have figured it is, but...
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's not that active. And then the Nacogdoches group is just kind of small. I mean, there's not that many people in Nacogdoches that also use Reddit.
And there's not that many things in Nacogdoches to post on Reddit, so...
Yeah. But the post did very well, at least by my standards, in the Texas group. So I think it got about 650 upvotes within a day.
Wow.
So I was very happy with the reception for that photo. I'll probably make that the show art for this week.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I will edit some of the firework photos, get them up on the blog, and I'll post a link to that in the show notes as well.
I think, honestly, part of what made your picture take off so well was that you had that building in it. And that building is pretty recognizable in Nacogdoches and at SFA. And so people within the Texas subreddit, many of them recognize that as being from their alma mater or from their hometown.
Right.
And it added a little bit of extra buzz.
Yeah, there were definitely some people that asked about it and wanted to know if it was SFA or just appreciated that they saw that it was at SFA.
Yeah.
One of the strangest outcomes of that photo was there was someone that posted, I think, on the Texas group. They said, "Oh, do you live in Nacogdoches?" And I just commented back like, "I sure do." And then they direct messaged me, which I have never done before on Reddit.
That's weird.
And so they just started this conversation with me. This is somewhat normal depending on the subreddit you're in, but it's not normal for me. And so I had this, like, I kid you not, 2-hour long chat conversation.
What?
With this rando on Reddit. Now, over the course of the conversation, and also kind of like looking at their post history, I deduced that they were like a 22-year-old Nacogdoches native that is going to SFA to be an EMT.
Huh.
I never caught her name. I could tell it was a her, but she had like purposefully made her username kind of anonymous. That's fairly common on Reddit. Most people don't have their real identity connected to themselves on Reddit. I do. Like, I am This Is Nate Dean on Reddit, just like my email, just like my Twitter, just like my Instagram. My username is This Is Nate Dean anywhere that I am. But that's fairly unusual for Reddit. It was just so weird. They were asking me like a ton of questions. At first I was thinking like, is this like a scammer of some kind? They're trying to like, what was your teacher in 3rd grade? Like, what was their name? Or like, what's your favorite dog's name? Or like, I was waiting for like these bank, security questions to come up. But from what I could tell, the person was just probably lonely. I mean, honestly.
So what did y'all talk about? Just like Nacogdoches?
She asked me a little bit about photography. From what I could tell, she wasn't really much of a photographer. We talked about like what I did, like how I liked my job. She talked about what it was like to live on a farm. She liked hunting and things like that. I don't know. It was really weird.
So do y'all have a date set up? Like, when
no.
are y'all going out?
No. Yeah, and like towards the end, it was like, okay, well, I need to do some other stuff. Like I need to quit chatting with this person on Reddit. And so I was like, well, I kind of got to go, but it was nice chatting with you. And they were like, yeah, sorry, I never do this, but I just, it was just so, the whole thing was so weird. Like it sounds weird, and it was weird,
That sounds super weird.
but they were nice,
Well, yeah, I mean,
and
that's good. Yeah, that's weird.
it was weird. I honestly, I think she was just lonely.
I'm totally all for like connecting with folks on the social internet. Like, I think that's generally cool. I
just
also
don't.
think it's weird.
I just don't. I've never been into, like I've had comments where I will go back and forth with someone about a topic, but I've never had like a direct message with someone like that.
Also, it's strange because to me, Reddit isn't actually a social network. Like, it
It
is.
technically is.
Yeah, like the content is all what's the name for it? There's a name for that where like all the content on a website is published by its users.
User generated content?
Yes, okay. I mean, all of its content is user generated, which is like part of a social network,
Yeah, yeah.
but you don't actually follow people. Like
Well, you can, but I don't even know how you view their stuff. I mean,
their
it's
stuff
not-
doesn't like automatically show up in your feed, so I don't understand how following them is any different than not following them.
yeah, I think the only way you could really reliably see it is just to go to their profile and
Yeah.
like catch up every once in a while.
Yeah. So since it's not actually a user focused site or like a profile focused site, I don't think of it as being particularly social.
Yeah, if anyone out there's listening and you don't know much about Reddit, I'd say the biggest difference between Reddit and, let's say, Facebook is that on Facebook you follow a specific page or you follow specific people, and then your newsfeed is just kind of a combination of those two things. On Reddit, you only interact with topics and with groups that you're interested in. Let's just say that Jimmy Page, who is a famous guitar player, is on Reddit. You wouldn't follow the person Jimmy Page. You would either follow a guitar-oriented subreddit, or you would maybe find a subreddit that was just about Jimmy Page. And maybe even Jimmy Page would be on that subreddit, but you wouldn't follow, like, he himself.
Yeah.
There's no way to do that. So you just follow, like, other photographers, or you follow other people who like knitting, or you follow other people who
like dogs.
I mean, a million different things. There's one subreddit that's one of my favorites called WeWantPlates.
No, that's my favorite. You can't steal my favorite.
Okay, I'm sorry. Well, the bit of this is that it's a bunch of photos of people going to restaurants where they don't have a traditional plate. A good example of this would be a barbecue restaurant where they give you a tray, or some other place.
No, that's a bad example. That's not extreme enough for WeWantPlates.
Well, but
WeWantPlates is if you go to a restaurant and they serve you
like in a shoe,
a cupcake on a tree branch, like
right. It's just kind of like it's poking fun at restaurants that are being maybe too innovative with their dishware.
Yeah.
But I just say that as an example for like there's another subreddit where it's pictures of birds with photoshopped arms on them.
Mm-hmm. r/BirdsWithArms.
Right. And so it's just a very specific group. I'm really down the rabbit hole now. I'm trying to figure out where I was. Anyway, so even given how weird Reddit is as a social media, because it is very weird, I thought this was a weird interaction. But yeah, that all came about from a fireworks photo.
Wow. Well, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even like it was a picture of you or of your dog or of your super cool car or something like that would entice somebody to like strike up a conversation with a stranger. I don't know.
Yeah, and like I said, it didn't seem like she was even really much of a photographer either.
Yeah.
It was more just that the photo was clearly taken in Nacogdoches.
Yeah. Again, I think it's fine. I have no problem with social interaction online. This just seems weird.
It was. So that was an adventure.
Yeah.
I don't really have much else to talk about.
I just have to say, I'm looking over here at Princess as she sleeps, and she's just so cute, y'all.
Okay, that's what Shelby has to say.
That's
is
what
that
Shelby has to say.
She has a cute dog.
Yeah. And Nate can cut it out if he wants, but I'll also take a picture for the show notes just in case he doesn't want. Because she's so cute. The little tufts of fur on her legs stick up when she sleeps. Her little belly's sticking out. Okay.
Maybe we'll just post a new photo of Princess
Yes.
every week with the podcast. But where I will challenge you is to like get out the big camera and take like a good photo of her. So the snapshot you just did there was fine, but I want you to like be challenged to take like a portrait worthy photo.
Here's the thing. She's difficult to photograph because she's all black.
Yes.
And so that does add
That's a good challenge.
No.
That's a good challenge. You need to get her in some direct sunlight. You need to raise the blacks.
Fine.
In Photoshop or Lightroom, whatever you want to use.
Well, I took those cute ones on my phone like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. But many photographers will encourage you to take a photo of the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like butting your head against a wall, but it does teach you to start to look creatively at your subjects.
Yeah. Well, we celebrated a birthday this week.
Oh, whose?
Oh, yours. Oh, my God.
Oh, okay.
How weird. How crazy. Yeah. Nate turned 24 on Tuesday. Now he's so old.
I don't think I'll be old until I'm 25. I feel like once you can say you're a quarter century, then you're getting old.
Nate, you're starting to bald.
I give my coworker so much. No, I'm not starting to. I started to bald at 15. So
yeah.
I've already had literally a decade of that.
Yeah. Not quite.
I give my coworker Richie so much heck over being old. Like he'll ask me like how old some actor is, and I'll say, "Oh my gosh, they're basically like a dinosaur. They're 63." And he's 64, and all he does is just threaten to sue me, like with harassment claims.
Like ageism in the workplace or something?
Right, yeah, like he's going to get fired early because he's so old. And it's also funny because at 64, he's in better health than probably a lot of 50-year-olds.
He's in better health than we are.
Yeah, he's very fit and active.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm trying to think of anything else to talk about. This might be a short one.
Yeah.
I think we'll call it quits.
All right.
See you next time.